Okay, I'm Mike Willis with USA Wrestling. We're here today with another edition of Moments Off the Mat. I'm joined by Duke University's newest assistant coach, Nathan Tomasello. Nathan, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, congratulations about the new role. It's really big news.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm grateful and excited to be a part of the program and to just grow a lot, and to just help as much as I can.
So I know you've been interested in getting into coaching for at least a little bit. Can you talk about what led you to Duke?
Yeah, so back in February, I went to Cuba for a tournament, and I met, I'd known Jacob Casper beforehand, but he was on the trip, and the competition ended, and we kind of were hanging out with a group of guys out there, and when I started talking to him, we were just kind of talking. He's like asking me kind of my plans and stuff like that after the trials, and I was like, well, I think I would love to get into coaching, and it's something that I've had a passion for. I've done a bunch of wrestling clinics, but I haven't really actually coached at college Division I level. I had coached a year at the high school level, just on the side, and he just told me how Glenn was a great coach for him, and he's coached alongside him now, and he'd be a phenomenal addition to the staff. And I was like, yeah, just let me know. I'll talk to him. So I texted him, and we caught up probably late February. I didn't think too much about it. And then COVID hit, and I just was kind of thinking a lot more about what I see myself doing this coming year. And just the more I thought about it, the more I realized that I have a big passion, more than I would say competition right now, to help coach and mentor kids and just share what I have, and what I've learned throughout the years. And yeah, out of all the coaches that reached out, I kept kind of dwindling it down to the last couple coaches, and just I don't know, Duke just kind of kept standing out to me. I took a visit in late June, I believe, to see the campus, or it was beginning of July. I saw the campus and talked to Glenn and just met the athletic director, and he just told me about kind of the program and just what to expect. And I don't know, I don't think there's coincidence. I think that when we caught up on back in February, was kind of something that I felt like God's kind of leading me to do, and helping that program just felt like the right fit. And he's been really open about me continuing to train and also getting opportunities to go to train as well. And so it just kind of was the best of both worlds. It's a beautiful area, which I like a lot. I like hiking, so the mountains are pretty close by. I like being by the beach. The beach is pretty close by, and the winter is a lot nicer as well. So, so yeah, just a lot best of both worlds, I would say.
So you're already qualified for the Olympic team trials, and you just talked about continuing competing. So we're definitely going to see you through, the 2021 Olympics, right?
Yeah, right now my plan is to compete at the trials in April this coming year and kind of see where things go from there. But yeah, as far as before that, I'm not quite sure. Just gonna kind of make this transition a little bit the next month and kind of see where my heart is and just where my head is, and start helping the guys out of the team and kind of just build from there. So,
What appeals to you most about coaching?
I would say I like the recruiting aspect of it, kind of trying to connect and build the next generation, and then just also going to people's houses. I remember back when I was being recruited, just having the coaches go to my house and talk to me about the opportunity with the program. So now being on the opposite side of it as a coach, that kind of sounds really exciting to me. That, and I think just putting together practice plans, and then just working on everyone else on the team, what they need to improve on, whether it's strength training or it's a different technique, or just kind of trying to help each guy, improve in some sense. And then just being at the dual meets, being a coach on the side, helping get the guys fired up, all those just sound very exciting to me. When I was on the Ohio State team, leading off the Buckeyes was something that I had a deep passion for. I took that very seriously. I wanted to get the ball rolling, get everyone going, and it just drove me every day. I think that's going to be the same thing as a coach, like trying to get this team as good as possible and just, kind of reinvigorate kind of my excitement for the sport.
What do you think the biggest adjustments are going to be transitioning from someone that's just focused on competing to, helping run a team and everything that goes along with it?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is just kind of putting together a schedule for the team and for myself and just kind of trying to do a little bit of both, and then just talking to Glenn and making sure that everyone's on board with what's going on, so just stay in touch with the coaches. And I think that's going to be the biggest thing. But the thing I love is just I love being busy. I like having structure and working throughout the day to do stuff. I think I realized this past year that just training was kind of something that I felt was kind of not enough for me at this point in my career, in my life. So I just thought the next step would be to get into the coaching realm as well. And it just worked out really well.
So you spent the last 7 years of your life at Ohio State. Is there any trepidation or nerves about, packing up your whole life into a couple boxes and moving halfway across the country?
Yeah, it's definitely exciting. It's definitely exciting, but also scary at the same time. I haven't left Ohio for an extended period of time. And this will be my first time actually being outside of Ohio, but I know it's time. I know it's time to kind of continue to grow and push out of my comfort zone. And I think this year will definitely challenge me in a lot of ways. And I'm excited for that. I'm excited to be in a different area, meet new people, develop friendships, and try to make it as much impact as I can. And that's the scary part. But I know that when I get down there, it'll be a little bit of adjustment, but it'll be something that I look back at and probably be like, man, this was definitely the right move. So that's my thoughts on it right now.
Yeah. So it sounds like you and Coach Glenn Lanham had a pretty solid connection right off the bat. What are some of the things that sort of drew you to him and his program?
So he's another one that kind of he's a guy that reminds me of Tom Ryan. I haven't got to know Glenn that well, but just talking about faith a little bit, he has a deep relationship with Christ. And that's probably the number one thing I would say for me as far as a leader goes. Like if I want someone as my boss, I want someone that I can really trust and lean on and talk to about things. And that was one thing that I felt like we had really in common. And I think another thing is he's very laid back, and I would say I'm more and I'm really kind of focused and determined. He's more laid back. So I think it's a good clash of styles a little bit. I think he'll allow me to kind of be a little bit more relaxed and just understand how to relax. And I just think the other thing is just the way he talked, the way he talked about the program and his passion for the guys. It just I could just tell he was just really selfless. He just wanted what's best for each guy in the program, and that's the same thing I feel like Tom Ryan is for the guys here at Ohio State. And it just made me realize like that. So that's right now probably my best opportunity to get my foot in the door and just also kind of be mentored in that sense, so I can understand more of the coaching realm and how to become the best coach I can be.
So in addition to Tom Ryan, you've had, a slew of fantastic coaches at Ohio State, including Tervel and Jaggers. What have you learned from them that you think you're going to be able to apply to your own kind of coaching philosophy, sort of as you grow?
Yeah, that's a great question. They all bring a little bit different tactics and mentalities to the game. I think for me, I think about Jay. He kind of reminds me of Lou Roselli. Lou was kind of his coach. He was my coach for 2 years. He's gonna be pretty tough on you, but he also cares about you. Trevel's kind of more just really loving, a little bit more hands off, and just the technique approach. They're very focused on the details of the technique and the positions. And they both have different styles too. Like Jay Jaggers is more of a scramble funk guy who can show different positions. Travell is more low single, really good with his leg defense progression. And I'm going to be more of a hand fight guy and just kind of, I think, taking away from their understanding what they've shown me so I can apply it to a guy that's not my style and be able to help him in that sense. You know, not everyone's going to be short and stocky and strong like me. So just being able to take away what I've learned from them and that approach, I think is going to be important.
Yeah. I know when Casper was down there, he was also training with the Wolfpack RTC to get some, partners and some different fields. Has that been something you've talked about at all, or do you know if that might be on the table for you?
Yep. I actually talked to Tony a decent amount, Tony Ramos, and he's been really open for me to come out and train at UNC with him. Jordan Oliver actually reached out about coming up and training with him as well. And so that'll be great. And I also talked to NC State guys as well, Adam Hall and Coach Pop, and it's the same thing. I feel like those three colleges, universities are very well connected, and so it'll kind of be just really good to be in that area, get different partners, and also just focus on the coaching too. So yeah.
So you don't really have your hands around the job yet entirely. I mean, you haven't officially started, but Duke is pretty unique in the fact that it is like an absolutely elite academic institution. I know they also have, some scholarship constraints. And Ohio State, like, by no means is a slacker school, but it doesn't have the academic rigor that is kind of tied in to Duke, unless you're going for aerospace engineering or nuclear science or something crazy like that. But what's your take on that? And what is your, initial thought about, having to recruit those not only, good athletes, but exceptional students?
Yeah, I kind of think of it as the Cornell of the South. Like you're going to get both a great student, but also a great wrestler, and it's just finding the right students that I felt like for me, it was the same way. Like I was super committed in the classroom and it just correlated right to my wrestling. Like, it's like you have that passion, like everything has to be focused and just whatever you're doing, working really hard at it, and it's going to be a little bit challenging because it's going to be some really good studs that aren't that focused on their academics. But when you find that right balance, that those kids are going to be the right kids for the program, and I just love that opportunity because it was the same way. I was very focused on my academics during college. I wanted to get a 4.0 and not to say I was in the toughest major, but I just think, it's going to be cool to have very, very smart athletes, and I think it'll be easier for me to coach them as well, because they're going to be very, very open to what I show, and they'll probably have a lot of questions because what I've noticed is the most elite people usually are very curious, and so that's kind of a really cool opportunity in my thought process for it.
So you've been part of a national championship team. That's not something a lot of people can claim. Even most national champs can't claim that their team won a team title as well. Do you think that, being in a room or, an environment an elite environment where you are competing for NCAA titles is going to give you an edge when it comes to coaching?
Yeah, being a part of Ohio State's program has allowed me to experience every sense of that, in a sense where I see exactly what goes into making a team of that caliber. When I came in as a freshman, they're like 6th, 7th, 8th. Like, they weren't quite at that top 3 level, and just being a part of it and winning it as a freshman with the team and then just being the top 3 every single year, I kind of understand a little bit of how things go into becoming a very elite program. I know it's going to take a little bit for Duke to be that, but I just think I've learned a lot in that sense at Ohio State, where I can kind of tell what practices we need to put in for and then being able to peak, being able to taper, and preseason, postseason, the science behind the training. That's been the cool thing, is like being part of this program. You get to see a lot of stuff that goes into winning a wrestling match, and that's what we're trying to do at Duke.
What do you think you're going to miss the most about, Ohio State and just being in Ohio in general?
I would say, obviously, the relationships that have been built. I'll try to come up every once in a while and see everyone, but I think you just have so many good friendships, and it's just tough because now you're going away and you won't see them at a regular basis. And I knew at a certain point I would have to do it, and so I think the biggest thing is just staying in connection with them, sending them a text, calling people, and just hopefully they'll come down maybe once throughout the year, and that's kind of that's going to be probably the toughest part, is just leaving family, family and friends from Ohio.
Yeah. So summers in North Carolina sound nice. Hiking sounds good. Beaches sound good. What else are you looking forward to about, moving there?
Yeah. Well, Glenn said he's a big fisherman, so we'll get some fishing in while I'm down there. I would say that, and just meeting new people, being a part of a new church, and just being a part of a different area, where you meet people of different walks of life, and I think that's the most exciting thing, is you just get to experience something unique and different. I think I've been in Columbus and I've been in Ohio my whole life, so it's just going to be something just, totally new to me in a sense. So, who knows? I might pick up one or two new hobbies from the people that are down there, that they're doing something new. So,
When do you think in your life did you realize that wrestling could be, a potential career for you, whether it be competition or coaching?
it was my freshman year in high school. I think after I won it my freshman year in high school at the state championship, I spent that summer focused on trying to win at Fargo as a cadet. Ended up taking third, and I remember going into the fall, and I was just like, man, like I really want to be the most elite in this sport. And so at the time I was playing soccer in the fall. I played soccer my freshman year, and I kind of had to make a decision because the soccer program was really good at the time at CBCA, the high school I was at. And they were pretty strict about me not leaving practice early to go to wrestling practice. And I wanted to work with a coach named Brian Dolph, who's a national champ from Indiana, a really good mentor. And I just made the decision that at that point I really wanted to pursue trying to be a four-time state champ and see myself at the college Division I level and win nationals, and I think it was that point I could see myself in the sport as a career.
Yeah. If you got to go back and, tell your freshman self, like as he's grappling with that decision, like, hey, your first, job out of college is going to be as an assistant coach for Duke University. Or I shouldn't say your first job out of college, because, being a wrestling athlete's a job in itself. So no disrespect meant there. But your first job outside of competing is going to be an assistant gig at Duke. How do you think you would have felt about that?
I probably would have been pretty ecstatic. Duke's always been a prestigious school, and one of my closest friends from up in Cleveland is a big Duke basketball fan. So I actually told him this weekend, I'm like, hey, man, you got to come down for one of the basketball games. So, but I would be pretty excited about it, from every aspect of it, can make some good money, and also just be part of a great program, being part of a good staff, and just, just being able to venture out. So I think that's cool. And I like being going back to the blue color. At CBCA, I was royal blue. Going back to that color is pretty cool.
Awesome. So, given that that COVID's kind of thrown everything into flux, when the world gets back to normal, do you know if you're going to be able to get to any basketball games? Because it seems like it might be a little tricky given you're in the same season.
Hopefully, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. A lot of uncertainty still. So, but I know one thing. I do want to pick Coach K's brain about things. I mean, he's probably the best college basketball coach right now, and in the country. And so it's like just asking him different things from his approach. I'm gonna buy his book and read it as well. So it'd be kind of cool just to meet him.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, Nate, I think that's all I got for you. Good luck with Duke. Hopefully we're going to see you and the program do big things together.
Thanks so much. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, you got it. All right, this has been another edition of Moments Off the Mat. Thanks for tuning in.